Alright, so before I do an in-depth camera tutorial on the S25 Ultra, I want you guys to make a couple of important changes to the camera settings, which is gonna improve the overall camera experience along with the picture and the video quality of your S25 Ultra. Okay, so the first set of settings we are gonna change are not available through the built-in camera app. So what you will have to do is open the Galaxy Store on your S25 Ultra and search for an app called Camera Assistant. So this is the one that you will have to download. And as you can see, this app gives you access to a bunch of features and camera settings that are actually hidden from you. And the first setting that I always recommend that you switch on is prioritize focus over speed. But before we switch it on, let me show you what this actually does. So right now, we've got the setting disabled and you'll see that the camera takes a photo even if the frame is out of focus or not completely set. As you can see, that results in a blurry photo. This is because when you've got the setting disabled, the priority will be to quickly take a photo rather than wait for the camera to set the focus. I don't think this is a good idea because this is gonna result in many people taking blurry photos. But fortunately for us, we can change how the focus system works in the Camera Assistant. So once you switch on prioritize focus over speed, the camera is gonna wait until the focus is properly set and then it will take a photo, which will eventually result in better quality photos. But do keep in mind this adds a bit of shutter lag. But you do end up with photos with proper focus. So yeah, totally worth switching this setting on. Now, you might be thinking that when you are taking a photo at the 3x telephoto zoom, the phone is actually using the 3x telephoto lens. Well, that is actually not true. The thing is, depending on the lighting situation, sometimes the phone is gonna end up using the main camera instead of actually using the 3x telephoto camera. And I can prove that by moving my finger onto the 3x telephoto camera, and you can see that we are still getting an image. So that means the phone is using the main camera even though we have got the 3x telephoto option selected. This is actually a great feature of the camera because it will automatically optimize and pick the lens to prioritize picture quality. But many people find this feature annoying. So what we can do is head on into the Camera Assistant and disable the automatic lens switching from over here. Now the phone is gonna pick the lens that you select from the camera UI. So as you can see, we've got the 3x telephoto camera selected and the phone is actually using the 3x telephoto camera. And I can show it to you by moving my finger on the 3x telephoto lens. So there you go. And I have taken a photo in the same lighting situation with the automatic lens switching enabled and then disabled. And yes, I did clean the lenses before taking these photos. And shockingly, the photo taken without the auto lens switching enabled turned out to be better. There is less noise and generally the one taken without the auto lens switching enabled is clearer and sharper. If we zoom in, you can clearly see the difference. Pay attention to the face of the beagle and the fan grill of the air purifier. Big difference, right? So the only downside of this is that you get slightly darker preview in the viewfinder compared to when you've got the setting enabled, but you'll notice that the brightness improves substantially after you take the photo. And the photo is also of higher quality, so it's totally worth switching the automatic lens switching off. Now, if you change the resolution of the camera to 50 or the 200 megapixel option, you would expect the phone to always take photos at the resolution that you've set, right? Well, there is a catch. If you zoom in at the 200 megapixel resolution setting, so let's take the zoom to 10 times, you'll notice that your photos have been downgraded to just 13 megapixels at 10 times zoom, even though we had selected the 200 megapixel setting in the camera. Well, this is because the phone is using the 5x tele-lens and it is cropping the photo from the 50 megapixel telephoto sensor down to just 13 megapixels to achieve the crystal clear 10x zoom. And I can prove that by moving my finger onto the 5 times telephoto lens. However, if you still want a high resolution 200 megapixel photo at 10 times zoom, you want to head on into the camera assistant once again and then tap on advanced resolution options and enable upscale digital zoom. So now the phone is gonna upscale the photo back to 200 megapixels even though we are taking the photos at 10 times zoom. As you can see, the photo turns out to be 200 megapixels. Now, even though these are upscaled photos, they do have quite a bit of detail in them, and you'll be able to zoom in or crop them quite a bit without any loss in quality. So this is a feature that you must enable if you want to zoom in into your photos and still have the phone give you high resolution 200 megapixel photos without any loss in quality. So you might have noticed that the camera takes a photo when you tap and lift your finger. See that? You actually have to lift your finger and then the camera takes a photo. Now, if you want to increase the responsiveness of the camera, head on into the camera assistant and switch on quick tap shutter. Once enabled, your phone will take a photo as soon as your finger touches the shutter button. This kinda gives you a feeling that the camera is being more responsive. But this is a personal choice. If you like it, keep it on. If you don't, switch this setting off. I'd also like to go over the Samsung camera UI and tell you some settings that you should change. Alright, so this bottom row contains your camera modes. By default, you've got 3 modes: portrait, photo, and video. But all of the interesting stuff is inside the More tab. So you've got the manual modes, which are the Pro and Pro Video, and night mode is here as well. So what I would recommend is customizing this bottom row which contains your camera modes. This way you'll have easy access to the camera modes that you use frequently. So the way you customize is by dragging and dropping the camera modes from the More tab down to the bottom row. Once you get a camera mode onto this row, you can place it wherever you want. And when you are done, tap on Save. And that's how you customize the camera modes. Next, head on into the video mode and tap here to change the resolution from Full HD 30 FPS to 4K 60 FPS. And this is gonna give you the best video quality possible, and your videos are also gonna be butter smooth because they are being recorded at 60 FPS. And not to mention, you can switch between all 4 cameras at 4K 60, and this is the resolution I use, and it is perfect for watching videos that you are gonna take with your S25 Ultra on a big 4K TV. Now, speaking of video, in the video mode, you're gonna notice that on the S25 Ultra, HDR is switched on by default, and this gives your videos deeper colors, better contrast, and generally it's gonna make your videos pop. However, one important thing to keep in mind is that you kinda need a good quality HDR capable display if you want these videos to look good. The thing is, if your laptop or PC monitor does not support HDR, well, then your videos are gonna look washed out and generally bad in comparison to what you see on your phone. But if you have an HDR capable display, then it's totally worth keeping this setting on because it does make the videos look incredible. For compatibility with non-HDR displays, I'm gonna keep HDR off. So it really depends on what kind of displays you wanna view your videos on. If you have an HDR capable display, keep it on, or else switch it off. The choice is yours. And yes, you can always convert HDR videos to SDR with the built-in converter, but keep in mind that these will never be as good as if they were originally recorded in SDR. Now, I really miss having an SD card slot on my phone. And one of the biggest advantages of having this is that you can record videos directly onto the SD card, and once it is full, you can swap this for another empty SD card and you can continue recording videos. Unfortunately, newer phones like the S25 Ultra do not have an SD card slot. However, Samsung has added a hidden feature that lets you record videos directly onto a USB-C flash drive. Let me show you. And obviously, for this to work, you'll need a USB-C flash drive and plug that into your phone. Next, open the Camera Assistant app, scroll all the way down and you'll see a feature which says Save Videos to External Storage. And all you have to do is enable this. Now when you open the camera and start recording a video, the phone is gonna automatically save that video directly onto the USB-C flash drive. And yes, the phone is able to save 4K 60fps videos directly onto the flash drive. The main advantage of this is that once you are done recording, you can remove the USB-C flash drive, plug it into your PC, and you'll see the videos that you have recorded right there on the USB drive. Super convenient, right? So now let's go over some of the settings that you should change. So what you want to do is head on into the camera settings and scroll down to shooting methods. Inside, you want to enable the floating shutter button option, and this is gonna allow you to pull the shutter button out and place it anywhere on the screen. Very useful if your finger can't reach the main camera shutter button. Okay, so we're back in the camera settings, and this time you want to scroll down and tap on settings to keep and switch on the selfie angle setting. This will make the phone remember the selfie angle that you set for the front facing camera. It always starts with a slightly zoomed in view, but once you enable the setting, you can switch this to wide and the phone is gonna remember the setting that you have set. Very useful, right? Okay, so another thing that you want to do is, in the camera settings, tap on Intelligent Optimization and inside, enable the Scene Optimizer. And this is gonna automatically optimize the colors and contrast in the pictures that you're gonna take. Now, you might be wondering, how am I able to get the camera to run in full screen? Well, this is because I've set the aspect ratio to full. I don't really recommend that you take photos in the full aspect ratio. I recommend setting this to 9:6 or 3:4 because these two aspect ratios are gonna give you the best compatibility with social media and your PC. I actually have a dedicated video about aspect ratios on Samsung phones, and I highly recommend that you go and check out that video once you are done watching this one. And finally, one last thing that you can do is head on into the More tab and download the Expert RAW app from over here. The main advantage of the Expert RAW app is that you get linear DNG 16-bit RAW output along with full manual control over all 5 cameras, and yes, that also includes the front-facing camera. Plus, it's also got the astrophotography mode. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate the astrophotography mode because there is just way too much light pollution. The phone is also trying to tell us that it is way too bright for an astrophoto. But if it's completely dark, this is the kind of photo that you can expect from the astrophotography mode in the Expert RAW app. Amazing, right? And other than the astrophotography mode, there are many advantages of taking photos in RAW. Mainly, you get more flexibility when it comes to editing. The thing is, you can import these into Adobe Lightroom for advanced editing. Now, I'm not a professional photographer, so I'm not gonna pretend I know everything about Lightroom and RAW, but I will say that a little editing goes a long way. So check this out. We have gone from a crappy looking, unusable photo to something that is a little bit more presentable. And I've barely spent about 5 minutes tweaking the settings in Adobe Lightroom. So, if you are into professional photography and you know your way around Lightroom, then the Expert RAW app is a game changer. And we're gonna end the video here because it's already 12 plus minutes long. So guys, if you have enjoyed the video and if you have found this video to be helpful, make sure to hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to get notified about my upcoming videos. This is Tech Guy Charlie, signing off.